All right. Good evening, everyone. As always, I hope that everybody is having a good week. I hope that you are doing great. I hope that you are minding the mental. I hope that you do that every single day. Every single day, I want you to think about your thinking. I want you to think about the thoughts that are going through your head, those thoughts that aren't serving you well. I want you to intentionally replace them with thoughts that will. So that's one of the ways that we mind the mental. But tonight on Mind the Mental Monday, as you notice, I didn't put anything out again, saying what the topic was because I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to do this. Um, but tonight I want to talk about minding the mental when dealing with hard anniversaries. And what I mean by hard anniversaries is um, when you're coming upon the anniversary of a loss. It could be the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a marriage, a relationship. It could be any one of a loss of a pet. Could be any of that, right? And sometimes we think about when we lose someone that we love, the day that we lose them or the moment that we find out about that loss, it can weigh on us really, really heavy. And depending on how close they are to us, it could weigh on us for long periods of time. And when you look up, a year has gone by. So this Mind the Mental Monday tonight is very, very personal for me because tomorrow, a year ago, I lost my mom. And I wasn't even really thinking about it until I wasn't thinking about the date until this morning. My husband was like, "Are you okay?" Because he thought today was the 20th actually. And he was like, "You okay? How you doing?" And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm doing okay. I was wondering why he was asking me that question, and then I thought about it. I was like, is today the 20th? Which February 20th, 2023 is the day that she passed. And so I honestly wasn't thinking about it. I came and got on my computer and realized, oh, it's the 19th. But I still have to get to tomorrow. And it's really weird because it doesn't feel like it's been a year already because I've just, when you have that kind of loss, it's something that you live with um, for the rest of your life. It's something that just never goes away. The hurt, the pain doesn't really go away. You don't really forget it. It lingers, and with each day that goes by, you you push through. With each day, you just you just get through each day, day by day. And there are lots of little things that sometimes can trigger a memory of a loss, whatever that is. And the other day I was talking to my daughter, and she mentioned something about some cornbread. Like it was, I don't know, something that she was watching on TV or some video or something where somebody was making cornbread or somebody was eating cornbread. And I just ended up in tears. Why? Because my mom, when she was alive and I would go visit her, she would always ask for my cornbread. She loved specifically my cornbread. And so it gave me so much pleasure every time, before she got to a place where she could no longer eat solid foods. Um, I would love to just go and like make her cornbread. It's something as simple as that. Um, just made me think about about that. So it's those little things that kind of stay with you. And so on this Mind the Mental Monday, I really just I want to pay homage to my mom. My mother was a quiet storm. She was a quiet force. And I know that this might not mean anything to anybody else that's watching this that's watching this tonight. I get it because you might not know my mom, like, and of course you won't know her like I do. But the reason that I'm sharing it with you is that I know that I'm not by myself. I know that there are others out there that have experienced specifically the loss of a mother. I know that there are others out there who, go through different things. I one of my followers who she had lost her mom, and it was going to be that first birthday, her mom's the first birthday of her mom when her mom was no longer here. And I had just gone through that myself this past October. And so I wrote to her, um, you know, she was wondering what should I expect. So, and what I said to her was don't expect anything. Just let yourself feel what you feel. Let yourself do what you need to do. If you need to cry, if you need to laugh, whatever it is that helps you to get through that moment, as you remember your loved one, let yourself do it. Let yourself be at peace with whatever that is. And even if it's longer than a year, like, that first year is always the roughest, but subsequent years after that is still just as rough. Because I still feel the same. My dad, this June, it'll be 20 years since he passed, and there used to be a time where I literally did not want to get to the month of June. I didn't want to. I didn't want to face that month at all because so much in that month was reflective of him, his birthday, his Father's Day, the day he passed, the funeral date, like all of that is just all throughout the month of June. So there used to be a time where I wanted to go to sleep on May 30th and wake up on July 1st. And even 20 years later, I've gotten better now, but it's still tough. It's still really tough. So I want to normalize that, when you have that kind of loss, when you lose a loved one, um, or when you lose something that's near and dear to you, it's okay to feel that pain. It's okay. Um, people might say things like, well, it's been a long time. Why don't you get over it? Well, that's the wrong thing to say because you don't get over it. You get through it, right? You get through it, but it's not something that you get over. And so I want to encourage you that if you are experiencing a similar season, to let yourself feel all the feels, let yourself cry all the tears, let yourself remember the good, memories, and even if some of the memories aren't so good, because we're not going to all the memories won't be good, right? Because that's this thing called life throws stuff at us. So sometimes we're not going to have the best memories all the time, but just let yourself be and give yourself grace, and think about the thoughts that cause the feelings that you're going through, as I mentioned a couple of episodes ago. As you're feeling what you're feeling, think about the thoughts that's causing those feelings, and if you need to change that feeling to in order to better control the emotion, go ahead. But if you need to just let yourself emote, let yourself do that, because you're human. And not letting yourself feel or not letting yourself emote or get out the emotions that you feel does not make you weak. In fact, it makes you that much stronger. I want to speak especially to the men, because men have been given this false narrative of what it means to be a man. And it comes from just this Western patriarchal, just foolishness. But when you think about the greatest man that ever lived, Jesus Christ, he cried openly, out in public. He cried because he felt. And he is the most manly man I've ever that I've ever known. So I'm not sure where this concept comes from that men don't cry and all this kind of stuff. Listen, if you're a human, you're going to have emotions. You're going to feel. Let yourself feel. Let yourself be human. Um, and if you don't want to do that in front of a whole bunch of people, that's fine. That's fine too. Um, but let yourself get those emotions out. Don't bottle them up inside, because when you bottle up emotions, you end up either exploding on somebody else or imploding on yourself. So let yourself feel all the feels and get out what you want to get out. So, as I am on the eve of this anniversary date that um is hard. It's really hard, that she's not here. Um, but even though she's not here, I remember, she is here in a way because it's funny because I see so many ways that I'm so much like her that I didn't see before. I didn't see um I didn't see before some of the ways uh that I'm just like her. And some of the strength that she had and um just how she coped with different things, how she was able to just maneuver through life regardless of what life had to throw at her. Now she um what had a disease called Huntington's disease. It is very similar to I say it's similar to like having a cross between Parkinson's and a stroke. Like, so she got to a place where it was very difficult to understand her speech. She got to a place where she was completely bedridden, um, where she couldn't, she had to be fed, she had to be bathed. Um, and as much as independent as she was, even when it got to that place, she had this tenacity and this desire to go on until she just couldn't go on anymore. She had this tenacity that I'm going to keep pushing until I get to the very end. Until God is ready to take me home, I'm going, even in the state that I'm in, I'm going to live. So a lesson that I learned from her was to live, live with all your might. Even if you get to a place where you have some kind of ailment or disease or something, that you might have a disease, but don't let the disease have you. That is something I learned from her, that she had this disease, but the disease did not have her. She was going to keep pushing until she just literally could not anymore. And when she got to the place where she couldn't anymore, and we were gathered around her and we were able to say, Mom, just tell her all the things that we maybe wanted to tell her before she took her last breath, we didn't even realize that she had taken her last breath. She just went on it peacefully. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that she was able to just drift off peacefully with surrounded by her family. I'm grateful that she is not in any kind of distress anymore. She's off flying somewhere. One of the things that my mother did like to do when she was able to get around was travel. And she was a world traveler. And and she did that up until the last till she got to a place where she realized she could no longer drive and she could no longer even after she couldn't drive, she still flew places, and usually my sister might travel with her, but she was still up until the very end. She traveled, and she's traveling now, you know. I just look at it as she's on one of her excursions, one of her trips, and she's just kinda hanging out until we all get to the other side and we're able to kinda meet up again and have a party. Um, you know, another thing that, I remember about her is that she would always tell us, her children, um, to don't ever count yourself out. She said that so much. So there was no, coming home and, you know, I remember when I was in high school, the first time I tried out for the pom pom squad, I didn't make it. And I was in tears. I was really, I was hurt by it. And, my mother said, okay, you didn't make it this time. Try again next year. Now, every part of me wanted to say, "For what?" There's no point, I'm just gonna give up. I'm not even gonna try out again. But because I had her in me, I didn't give up. The next year, I tried out again and I made it. And so that is something that has stuck with me to this day. To this day, I will never let anybody tell me what I can't do. And I will try. I will try different things, not knowing what the outcome is going to be, but I'm going to try because my mother instilled in me, don't ever count yourself out. And as a result of not counting myself out, I've been able to do some things and experience some things that had I counted myself out, I never would have, because I would not have had the boldness to do some of the things that I've been able to do and to step out there um, and to do the things that I've done. And so I am grateful. I'm grateful for that experience with her. I'm grateful for all the lessons that I learned from her. I'm grateful, um, that she just put in me a lot of confidence. And even in those moments when I don't feel so confident, I think about her and I hear her voice saying, "Benita, don't ever count yourself out. You at least try. Even if you don't make it, even if they don't accept you, you still try. You still put forth your best effort. And even if you don't make it, you one of two things. You'll either try again or you'll move on to something else. But what you're not going to do is give up. What you're not going to do is sit here and cry and don't try. That's what you're not going to do." And so on this eve of her transition from labor to reward, on this eve of her um, getting those wings and not having to rely on an airplane, but just being able to fly away herself, um, on this eve, um, I am just ever so grateful. And I really didn't mean to come on here and like be sad. But, and it's not really sadness. It's just really a joy of having had her as such an integral part of my life. And it really is to share just my own testimony with this experience to others out there who have gone through the same thing. We have all, at some point in our lives, experienced loss. And if you haven't experienced loss, it's it's gonna come. Um, but just as I said before, what I really want to impart here is to let yourself feel the feels. Let yourself, um, you know, I'm not even trying to like choke back the tears. Um, I'm not even worried about what everybody who sees this is going to think. I really just hope that it encourages somebody out there that even in the midst of loss, you are still alive. You are still living. And while you are still living, while you still have breath in your body, take the lessons that you might have learned from that person that you've lost. Um, take every bit of that and use it to live your best life. Like Jill Scott said, live your life like it's golden. Be encouraged that even when others, um, w- even when we no longer have people with us physically, that they are still very much a part of our lives. They're very much a part of of who we are. They are very much a part of who helped to shape us. Um, and yeah, I just want to share just how grateful I am to have been able to experience my mother who was on this earth for 85 years. And that's a blessing. And I was able to experience her for 54 years of my life. That's a blessing. Um, and I was able to learn so much from her. She was a quiet, I said earlier, she was a quiet storm. Like she was quiet, but in her sort of quiet way, she also didn't take no stuff. And she was also very strong, not only mentally, like spiritually strong, but she was physically strong. Um, which is probably why she didn't really like hit us growing up. I mean, I never got any spankings. My siblings will fuss about that because I'm the youngest. And yeah, I'm the probably the only one. I'm the only one that didn't ever get spanked by my parents. But everybody else they experimented on. By the time they got to me, it was like, okay, yeah, it was one of by the time they got to me, it was like, we've been through all the other stuff, so admittedly, they were probably a little bit more lenient on me than they were on my siblings. And I'm grateful for my siblings too, because we get to experience this life together. Get to experience, these challenges, the challenge of losing our mother together. And that's also a blessing, to have that kind of close knit family and siblings that I have. And so I want to encourage you all to, um, you know, let yourself be, give yourself grace, cry, smile, laugh, you know, hit a punching bag. Don't hit a person. Hit, or don't knock holes in the wall. Get a punching bag or something. Something you got to do to kind of get out the stress or whatever it is, the angst, whatever that you might be going through. But let yourself live after that, and be grateful. Be grateful for the life that you have, and do something positive with your life, because your loved one has might have gone on, but you're still here. You're still here for a reason. You're still here on purpose. And you are still able to be a blessing to somebody else. So I know this was kind of a short mind the middle of the night, but when you've lost a loved one, you have to mind your mental. And when you reach those milestone dates, first birthday, first holiday, first all the first, it's rough. It is rough, but you can make it. You can get through it. Um, just just give yourself that grace, allow yourself to be, and keep living. Because you're here, you're a gift on this earth, and you're here on purpose, for a purpose. All right. So thanks everybody for kind of putting up with me tonight in this Mind the Middle episode, dealing with hard anniversaries. I want to thank you. And Val, I see on Instagram that you had requested to join, but if I let you join on Instagram, then the people on Facebook won't get to see the exchange. So I'm sorry about that. But I know that you recently experienced a loss, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I know that there are others who also know what I'm talking about. So pray with me and my family tomorrow, because it's going to be rough. It already is kind of. Um, but I'm still smiling, because yeah, I know she got those wings, and I know her favorite place on earth to travel to was Morocco. But I bet Morocco ain't got nothing on heaven. So um I'm I'm really grateful that she is able to be at peace and at rest. She deserves it. she she deserves that rest. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you all. Again, I ask for your prayers, and I'll be praying for each and every one of you. And I thank you for continuing to hang out with me on Mind the Mental Mondays. I've got something I'm working on. I can't really say what it is quite yet, because it's in the works, but I'm real excited, and I can't wait till I get to share it with you all. So God bless you. I love you, and peace. Have a great night.